Here we are, folks, again. Once again, here on this radio station, and also hopefully on our YouTube channel, speaking about the things that are happening today, the madness all around us, and how we have to work in order to find sanity and safety in our lives, the lives of our children and our children's children nowadays, when those at the top seem not to care. For the first time in our lives, we seem to be in a place where the citizens of this country have recognized that there are irreconcilable differences between us. Before, we were always united. We worked out our differences. We made our way on the local level, on the state level, and sometimes the federal level. That's not happening anymore. We have so many politicians taking bribes from so many billionaires that our democracy is dead. Institutions of higher learning are actually calling the police on their own students and beating them because they are protesting against us sending billions of dollars over to Palestine in order to starve children, shoot men and women, bomb houses, torture people, and to kidnap people on the West Bank. I think it's 8,000 now, locking them up with no fair trial, no trial at all, stealing their homes, beating people up in the streets. And this is all brought to you by the United States and the Zionist lobby. What is the answer? The state makes it illegal to say that killing about 35,000 people and causing the death of over 200,000 people because of bombs and starvation and disease. They make it illegal to call it a genocide and say it's anti-Semitic. From what I've heard, you see, being Semitic was never equal to being a murderer, a thief, a fascist, a person who wanted to steal other people's lands and commit cold-blooded murder. Zionism is Zionism. Being Semitic is Semitic. And the two shall never meet. So let's have a government that works for the people instead of bullshitting all of us so that they can continue to get funding from billionaires who are in love with the Zionist project. Some out of ignorance, some out of superstition, and some as a desire to get a hold of the beachfront property there to develop and the gas that is off the coast of the southern Gaza and Lebanon. Let's just be honest here, okay? And I'm afraid that our country, the United States, is over because there are irreconcilable differences. When you as a nation have the police beating and attacking your own children, you don't deserve to be a nation anymore. You are the worst type of traitor that I can think of. And no one will ever forget this. Israel will be gone. They've gone too far. None of the other nations will ever forgive and forget this. And this idea of it being a shining beacon brought into God, into the Middle of East, to bring about peace and prosperity for all people, not only Jewish people, has been destroyed. It can never be recovered. And according to the Hebrew scripture, the reason why Israel was driven out and taken over by Babylon the first time was because they had turned their back on the covenant of God by murdering, killing, stealing, and not knowing the way of peace, and creating idols. The idols of money, success, and in this case, that land. They have made that land into an idol and have placed its importance above their relationship with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that insist that they be the ones to bring about justice and peace. So, if this God is really listening and exists, they are worse off than this God not existing, because they have betrayed this God again and will be sent into the wilderness again. So let's just pray they're wrong about that. Let's just pray about a lot of things. You see, I know that if you're here, if you're listening to my words, you are a certain chosen person who has been drawn here to hear the truth. There are all kinds of YouTube videos up now with people from the far right trying to disguise themselves as newscasters or trying to soften their racist approaches to everything. More and more of them are appearing, as you see on Facebook, where the Christian nationalists are putting out calls for people to make money by being spokespersons for the nationalist Christian right, those who are not Christian at all. And now they are dumping them onto YouTube so that people can no longer see the truth, know the truth, or learn the truth. This, too, is damaging because it's destroyed the reputation of the Christian church. All of these institutions are falling apart, and all that will be left are the ones that are aligned with the way. The way was a celebration where all people got together. They dropped all of their differences. No male, no female, no Jew, no Greek, no nationalities, no classes, no races. They all got together and dropped all those designations that had been given to them by the princes of the power of this world and were just who they were. And they worked with each other and talked with each other and got to know each other as human beings. And this was understood to be the kingdom of heaven. The way was supposed to spread all across the world and make this world of division and anger and hatred into the kingdom of heaven, or the rule of love or God. But the institution was taken over. It began to be used to separate, even as our democracy now has been taken over. Even as Israel now has been taken over, turned to something to dominate and separate. And so we sit here, those who are awake, those who are at peace, those who know love, we sit here and we watch as the world goes around and the few at the top weave their own destruction, and many, many more who have not dealt with their own hurt or injuries, haven't dealt with their traumas, follow right along behind the sociopathic people doing hate, damage, and causing pain and suffering in the name of two things. One is doing what's right. The other is being superior to everyone else. Their group, their ethnicity is more whole, more truthful, closer to God than anyone else's. And when I'm talking about ethnicity, I'm talking about Every group that has its own culture and upholds that culture as the norm and the one better than everyone else's. In other words, I'm talking about every group that believes in their superiority, their ethnic supremacy. Every group. Because parts of each and every group are guilty of the same thing. So we watch. We wait. We prepare for when all of this breaks down so we can at least introduce some thoughts and ideas that are healthy and better. We sow the seeds that will create a better community as this one dissolves, as the U.S. is broken up into separate factions so that it has no power on the world stage anymore. As many of the people in Israel realize that they came for a dream that has not been fulfilled and that they are living in a nightmare and decide to leave. And as other economic forms and economic systems rise, making this obsolete, one based on power over and hatred and anger, making it obsolete, throwing it into the dumpster of all of the empires that went before it. And as all of this is happening, we will be fine. That is the promise of the divine. Because we know that this is not all that there is. We know, as awakened, enlightened beings, that we have been in existence before we were born to this plane of existence. We will be in existence as we leave this plane, because we are just passing through. We are passing through to help gather those who came into this world in order to make it better and forgot who they were. The ones who were trapped in the matrix of fear and anger and greed and delusion. That is the reason we are here. That is the reason why some of the others, the ones who got lost, are here. And the others, this is where they belong. Because as the restorationists say, every human being receives the heaven they belong. And in this world, the angry, the hateful, the prideful find joy in what they're doing. So this is their heaven, not ours. Good being with you. To find out some more about what we're doing, visit us at our website. We'll have it in the description, and you can help donate to support this channel so we can do a lot more things, make a lot more videos. You can also help us by looking at our life coaching sessions so that you can become empowered and learn the value and the power of living in the now. Thanks again, folks.